Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the July 18th, 2021 special edition of The Breast There Is, The Breast There Was, and The Breast There Ever Will Be Wrestling Podcast. As always, I am your host, Mikey B, WWE, and today's podcast will be featuring the WWE pay-per-view event, Money in the Bank, scheduled for this evening, and my predictions will be coming shortly. On the match card, we have on the main card 6 matches featured, and also there's one listed match on the kickoff show. And something that is notable that I have changed in this season is that from now on, because as I did in previous seasons, I only gave predictions for matches which wound up appearing on the actual main card. Starting in this season, season 5 of my podcast, I am now any matches that are listed on WWE.com on their website as a match on the match card, be it a kickoff match or the actual main card. I will be giving predictions on all of these matches now, just to basically have more matches to predict from and make things more interesting. So like I said, we have on the total card there are 7 matches, but 6 on the main card. And first, let's begin with the one kickoff match listed on the WWE.com website. It's for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, and it is the championship, the team of Rey and his son Dominic Mysterio taking on the Usos. This is, to me, one of the only matches this evening where I feel that we will see a title change. Possibly the only one. I think, of course, with Roman Reigns having retained his belt now for almost a year, he, returned last year at SummerSlam and won the belt soon thereafter. They're obviously still the company is really building up Roman Reigns as the dominant force that we're led to believe he is. With his reign has been impressive, without question, even though he's definitely had to use the help of his cousins many times over this last year. And I do think it will make things more interesting if the Usos are gonna once again hold the tag team belts, so their little faction will all be title holders. I think that's probably the most interesting angle that the company is considering here. And I should also note that possibly with this particular match and also with many others on tonight's card, we're likely going to see a lot of these matches roll over into next month, because next month, of course, is SummerSlam, which is the first of the big 4 annual WWE pay-per-views on the WWE calendar. As a reminder, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, and WrestleMania are the big 4. And WrestleMania, even though it usually occurs in March or early April, that really kind of signifies the end of the WWE calendar year, and then they start kind of fresh with new storylines and new feuds and programs. All sorts of things go on after WrestleMania. So anyways, it's noteworthy that SummerSlam is just around the corner, because I think we're going to see some of these feuds extend into next month, and there will definitely be some new activity going on with the Money in the Bank ladder matches, both the women's and the men's this evening. But back to my prediction for this original kickoff match, I do think, like I said, as you're already probably guessing, the Usos, I think, will come away with the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, further reinforcing the faction they have going with their cousin Roman Reigns. So I'm picking the Usos to be victorious in the kickoff match this evening. Second match on the card is for the Raw Tag Team Championships now, and this has the champions AJ Styles and Omos taking on the Viking Raiders. I think this feud is just starting to pick up steam, and I also think that AJ Styles and his beastly partner Omos have not held the belts very long, so I don't think anything is going to change here. I think certainly there's going to be some foul play involved, but I do suspect that AJ Styles and Omos will be victorious tonight, retaining the Raw Tag Team Championships. But I certainly see this feud just getting warmed up. We're going to see this, I think, next month at SummerSlam and possibly further on, because the Viking Raiders are definitely not going anywhere anytime soon. So, but for prediction purposes, AJ Styles and Omos are my pick to retain the Raw Tag Team Championships. Moving on to the third match of the night, it's for the Raw Women's Championship with the champion Rhea Ripley taking on Charlotte Flair. This, of course, is a rematch from last month when they competed at Hell in a Cell. Charlotte Flair earned the disqualification victory. However, Rhea Ripley, because of rules with disqualifications, similarly with countouts, a belt can't change hands in that format. It can only change with pinfall or submission. So Rhea Ripley was able to retain the belt over Charlotte Flair. Employing some devious tactics, and I do think this was one that I've been humming and hawing over, but I don't see Rhea Ripley dropping the belt yet. They just awarded it to her at WrestleMania, and I don't see her dropping it just yet. However, next month I think could definitely signify at SummerSlam a changing of the guard there. But for my prediction tonight, it's not a super confident pick, but I do think Rhea Ripley will retain the Raw Women's Championship match, and she'll be victorious. And before I carry on with the next prediction, I should note that even though, it just as in podcasts and seasons past, it's so incredibly difficult to choose when the company is going to, employ a disqualification or a countout result in any of their matches. I don't like to think along those lines because I think that's a bit of a cheap way to end a match, truthfully, anyways, especially on a pay-per-view where people are paying very good money to see this thing. So when I am making my predictions, I am choosing just the victor of the match. So so even if they happen to win by disqualification or countout, then that will count in my favor. But that's the unfortunate thing, that prediction with Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair, I could easily see myself not getting that prediction right, because Rhea Ripley could very simply do another disqualification tactic, so Charlotte Flair would earn the victory, even though Rhea Ripley would retain the belt. All of that said, I'm still sticking with my pick that Rhea Ripley will retain. She might not be the victor, but I think she will win. I'm picking her to be victorious and retain the Raw Women's Championship. Okay, moving on now to the fourth match of the night. It's for the Universal Championship, with the champion Roman Reigns taking on Edge. I like this match a lot. At WrestleMania, when these two, along with Daniel Bryan, competed in the triple threat match for the Universal Championship, I did think that Edge would be victorious. I thought that would have completed his a great storybook finish to his return after the Royal Rumble, and the Royal Rumble the year before, just before the pandemic began. But still, Edge's recovery from his for many years career-ending surgery, I think is a great storyline that the company, WWE, would be very foolish not to capitalize on and give him victory with. But I don't think that's happening tonight. Again, with SummerSlam being the bigger card next month, this is a feud that I 100% see carrying forward. It may not be just the two of them. We haven't heard anything from Daniel Bryan since WrestleMania, so who knows? But I do still think Edge is deserving to win the belt again. But it's not happening tonight, as far as I'm concerned. Simply for no other reason, but besides that Roman Reigns has his Usos, his cousins, to help out if he gets in a tight spot. And he's definitely going to use their help to defeat Edge tonight and retain the Universal Championship. And on top of which, I don't think the company is... with SummerSlam around the corner, they like to save a lot of their... They're not going to, I think, prematurely end a feud, like a good one like this one, too early. And I don't think... or with the fact that with what I'm suggesting with Roman Reigns winning in a very controversial fashion will only stoke the fire and will stoke the momentum for a rematch next month. So Roman Reigns is my pick for retaining the Universal Championship. The fifth match of the night is for the WWE Championship with the champion Bobby Lashley taking on Kofi Kingston. Bobby Lashley is another person I don't see him losing the belt yet. The company has been giving him a bit of a run this year, and I think justifiably so. The guy is he's a beast of a wrestler. He's become a lot more interesting when he was, with MVP by his side, and I don't think they're going to do anything to compromise that yet. It'll be interesting to see what happens in who he's going to be feuding with, or the program who he's going to have next month come SummerSlam. But I do think that I probably with some help from MVP, Bobby Lashley is going to be victorious over Kofi Kingston, retaining the WWE Championship. And now on to the final two matches of the night, which are the Money in the Bank ladder matches, both the women's and the men's. And of course, the winner of each of these matches gets a contract for a future upcoming World Championship match. So let's begin with the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. There are 8 competitors in each match, but in the women's match, we have Asuka versus Naomi versus Alexa Bliss versus Nikki ASH versus Liv Morgan versus Selena Vega versus Natalya versus Tamina. When you're thinking of someone who's going to win this match, it's not. I do think oftentimes they choose someone that they think is, they're going to be in line for a big run, and possibly not only in the coming year but beyond. It's such a major catapult for whoever wins these matches. Not only just in this particular year, but it really catapults their career forward. I don't think they always use that line of thinking when they select their winner, the WWE creative team, that is. However, in this first match with the women, I do think they are going to go with that sort of line of thinking that I just suggested. I think they're going to give a major boost to someone, and to me, the obvious pick here, or at least the most likely pick, would be Liv Morgan, who's been gaining more and more momentum with each successive week. So I'm choosing Liv Morgan to be victorious in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, granting herself a future women's championship opportunity. And now the final match of the night is the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. The 8 competitors in this match are Ricochet versus John Morrison versus Riddle versus Drew McIntyre versus Big E versus Kevin Owens versus King Nakamura versus Seth Rollins. There are a few names that kind of stand out here as potentials that I think, again, with what I was just suggesting, how some of these guys are on the rise and they could use this catapult in their career. However, I think what the company is going to do is reward a veteran here, and also somebody who has won this competition before and cashed in at a very memorable time. I think Seth Rollins is my pick here, even though I was basically considering both him and Drew McIntyre as the 2 leading candidates to win this thing. The problem I see with Drew McIntyre winning, before I explain the Seth Rollins pick, is, right now, Drew McIntyre on Raw, he can't, while Bobby Lashley's champion, he can't have any more further championship opportunities. Say he were to win tonight, win the Money in the Bank ladder match, I'm not sure if that would then overrule that stipulation, which was employed a couple months ago, or not. But I still think that it wouldn't add as much mystery. I mean, it would be very clear Drew McIntyre would want to cash in as soon as possible on Bobby Lashley, and I don't think it's as interesting a choice as Seth Rollins would be. Seth Rollins, of course, he's been a champion a number of times. He's right now, the company, I think, is really pushing him as a strong heel character. They're even teasing future potential matchups, maybe with Edge, if Seth Rollins were indeed to win tonight and Edge were indeed to also go on and win against Roman Reigns. I just think there's so many possibilities with Seth Rollins winning now that could be interesting scenarios in the future. And especially the fact that they're really, pushing him as a major heel character on the company right now on the shows. I just think that it's too good to resist choosing him. Even though there's lots of other great guys in this match, namely Kevin Owens, King Nakamura, Ricochet, all these guys are really good, but I just think that Seth Rollins presents the most interesting, prospect for who he could cash in against potentially. So there you have it, folks. Just as a quick recap to name my who I think will win all the matches here, we got the Usos winning the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Then I have the team of AJ Styles and Omos retaining the Raw Tag Team Championships. Rhea Ripley retaining the Raw Women's Championship. Roman Reigns retaining the Universal Championship. Bobby Lashley retaining the WWE Championship. And then in the Money in the Bank ladder matches, I have Liv Morgan and Seth Rollins as my picks to win. So there you have it, folks. Hopefully tonight will provide some intrigue and surprise. Money in the Bank pay-per-views normally do, because sometimes the cash-in occurs immediately, that same night. But surely there's going to be, I think, some surprises in store tonight. But make no mistake about it, WWE is definitely priming and building things up for SummerSlam next month. That's going to be a great card, I'm sure, to say the least. And so hopefully things play out the way I kind of see, and it's going to start the proper build up to the major pay-per-view next month. So anyways, thanks very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed what you heard. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel below if you did. So thanks very much for listening, and see you next time.